Hey, what's going on? I wanted to take a minute and talk to you guys about the gouache paintings I've been doing for the past year, ever since I moved to California. I moved to California about 12 months ago. January 1st was the day I left Georgia to come to California for a job at Disney Interactive, and there's been a lot of ups and downs since then, but overall I'd like to report that everything is going great. I know I've been kind of away for a while, but that's mostly because I've had my nose to the grindstone and I have been working so hard on my craft, and I just wanted to share with you guys some of the things that I've done. And I have a stack of paintings right here that we're just gonna flip through right here. I haven't done a full count, but I think it's about 60 paintings, and this isn't even all the paintings I've done. There's paintings inside of a sketchbook, tons of sketchbook paintings, tons of paintings that sold or that I gave away. So these are just the ones I have, and these are also the ones that I'm going to be selling in my store on February 21st. I'm going to be opening my store to the public, and I'm going to be selling all of these paintings for 1 week only at a huge sale. I think this one, for instance, is like $40. Crazy cheap. And then after that first week, everything is going to go back up to $100, or it's just going to be removed to the store permanently, and I'll burn it or something. So I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and flip through these and kind of talk about some of the memories that they bring up, because I think it's fun to do this. This was about a month after I first came to LA. I signed up for a painting class with James Finch at the Concept Design Academy, and this was towards the end of the class. We were doing a ton of paintings. Every Sunday the class would meet up, and we would meet somewhere in LA, and we would all just paint together. And then while that class was going on, I was also taking my own initiative and kind of going out to a bunch of places and painting on my own, little solo excursions. And I think that really helped a lot. I learned a ton from that class. I made a bunch of new friends, and it was just a really great experience, and it really helped me kind of hone in on my craft. This one I did in the class. We were actually inside of a parking garage in downtown LA, and it was one of my first times actually hanging out in downtown LA, and I think I spent about an hour on this one. And yeah, I was really proud of it at the time. Now I'm filled with like, oh, I did this wrong, I did that wrong, I did this wrong. But it's a journey, and it's just, it's a growing experience. So I'm happy I had that experience. And then more traveling. This is at a park near the house where I live, and this is at the beach. Obviously, I don't really remember what beach, but I think it's probably in Laguna Beach. This was one of the only paintings I took into Photoshop after I completed the painting and reworked it. I don't do that a ton, but I really do it when I'm not happy with paintings, and at the time of making this painting, I was so unhappy with it. I hated it. Now, looking back on it, it's funny, I kind of like it actually. Weird how that works out. So we'll just keep on moving here. We went to the beach a lot during this class. It was James Finch, if you don't know, he loves painting the beach, and he's an amazing painter of beach and seascapes, and so he took us there quite a bit. This was towards the tail end of that class. He brought in a live model for us to paint at the park, and at the time I really didn't know anything about drawing the figure, so I did the best I could, and I really like the tree. I think it's a little bit busy in places, but I think it was fun. This is one of the longest times I spent on a painting. I think I spent about 3 hours on this painting, in plein air, doing it in one setting. And so we're just going to clear that pile out of there. Keep on moving. These two little guys, so I live in Glendale, California, like a little bit north of LA, and one of the places I live next to is a cemetery called Forest Lawn, and Forest Lawn is just this beautiful place. We're about to flip through a whole bunch of Forest Lawn paintings that I kind of have organized in one stack. And there's just all these, there's 2 or 3 chapels per place, and it's just amazing. It's full of inspiration. You can see the mountains in the distance. If you go to the right places, you can see the Pasadena Hills, and you can see the Burbank Hills, and you can just kind of see everything. It's really awesome. And these were all done at Forest Lawn in Glendale, and mostly on my own initiative. At the time I had a job. I still have that job, cross my fingers, and I would go out after work, before work, over the weekends. Any time that I wasn't working, I was out painting. And lots of those paintings I just threw out because I didn't think they were good, but a lot of them I saved, and that's what we're going to look at today. This is a funny story. So my friend has a tomato plant that she named Tien, Tien, the god of the sun, or as you might know him, the awesome character from Dragon Ball Z. And she needed help moving this tomato plant from her room all the way up to her roof, and she asked me to do it for whatever reason, and I agreed. The only payment I wanted was that she let me hang out on her roof in downtown LA and paint some of the buildings. And this was one of the first times that I was painting buildings, in plein air. I've done it a couple times before, and I kind of fell in love with it. So it was super, super fun. More just hiking around Griffith Park. This is kind of bringing something to me that I think is really important for painters and how to really get better at being a gouache painter, and that's the idea of purposeful practice. So not just doing a bunch of paintings. Whenever people ask, how do I become a better artist? It's, do a bunch of paintings. But in my experience, I think the best way to be a better artist is to do a bunch of paintings with intent. Don't just sit down and do the paintings, on autopilot, but actually put full effort into those paintings, and then you'll get a much better experience through that. And so we're just kind of flip through. I don't want to take up too much of your time with this video. So we're just flipping through. This is a trip I took to the Mammoth Lakes, about 4 hours north of LA. I have the great benefit of having a car, and so I take a lot of road trips. I'd say every weekend I take about a 1 hour road trip, either to the beach or the mountains, wherever. And I try to go and see some new places so that I'm not bored with just painting LA. And this is all from that road trip, these past few paintings. These were done on the Tioga Pass, which is just a little bit north of the Mammoth Lakes. And these were all done there, just stopping and hiking around for a while. This was at the end of a long day of painting. I had painted 4 paintings before that, and that can really take a lot out of you because, you're in the sun, you're hiking all the time. And so at the end of the day, I just found this little creek. I lied down in it. I took maybe like a 10-minute nap, and then I got up and I painted this, and I just kind of roughed it out, maybe spent about 30 minutes on it. And I don't love it, but I like the memory that it brings with it. And so right about here is when I went back home. I went back home once this whole year to visit my dad and my mom. And while I was there, I brought all my paint stuff and I painted. This is in Birmingham, Alabama. I was just driving around looking for spots to paint. And eventually I got frustrated, so I just stopped and I said, this is as good a place as any. And I painted. This is my dad's pool table. It's actually one of my favorite paintings. And whoever is able to buy that from the store, they're going to get a special something from me because this painting has a special place in my heart. Because we no longer have that pool table, and I was raised on that pool table. And this is the hot dog stand, right screen left. That's just some dumb guy's house. But I used to love to go to that hot dog stand called Tip Top Hot Dogs. More forest, hiking into the San Angeles National Forest. And this one, I take a lot of workshops because I think it's really important to push yourself. This was at the tail end of a Mike Hernandez workshop. And this workshop was done at 3 Kick Studio out in Pasadena, and it was one of the hottest recorded days of 2016. And we went out, and we did these 2 paintings. It was, oh my gosh, I had never been so miserable. It was so hot. But I learned a lot through this. This was really a breaking point, because this painting and that class led to me doing this series of small mini paintings on a 9x12 piece of illustration board. This one was actually the first one I made. I made this during the class. He told us about this exercise on, let's say, a Saturday. And I went home Saturday night after class, and I did 9 paintings, and I brought him into him the next day, and I said, what do you think of these? And he told me some really great tips. He said, don't try and make these kind of strokes with your brushes. It kind of flattens out your painting, kind of like these flat strokes. I'd have to go more in detail to talk about it, but I kind of ran with this idea of doing lots of small starts, and I think to this day I find that really true, that you're better off to spend, say you're going to paint all day, you're better off to spend that day doing 10 tiny paintings, 10 starts, rather than doing one really long big painting, because you're going to learn so much more from all of those starts and failed starts and successful starts than you will from one start. And so we're just moving on here. Let's clear this pile out. We're getting oofa doofa. Get that one out of there. And so here we're just back to me exploring LA in my free time and taking a few trips. I went down to Laguna Beach and painted that. And I painted a bunch when I was there, but I can't find those other paintings. Sometimes I lose paintings. That's just the way it goes. I'm not very good at life. This was done later. I would say we're getting close to recent times. This was done maybe 4 months ago at Forest Lawn. I go out with a group of painters called the Weekend Warrior Painters, and we go out every Saturday or Sunday and we paint together. And I don't always join them because usually I'm on a road trip, but when I can, I love to join them, and they're all great people. And in these two paintings were done on this last Thanksgiving, so November 25th. All of these were done on Thanksgiving. I didn't really have any Thanksgiving plans because I don't really have any family out here in LA, and so I figured, whatever, I'm just going to go to the beach. I'm going to go to Malibu, and I'm just going to have fun, and I'm going to paint all day, and that's what pretty much 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 paintings are. These 6 paintings are all done in one day, probably like 30 minutes per painting. And I would just stop on the side of the road or hike down to the beach, and I would do a painting. And that was my whole day, and I love days like that. It's just a great time. More painting. This one, I did not plan on actually doing a painting, but I was just driving back from the art store. I happened to have all my stuff, and I saw this really cool building, and the light was really vivid, and I just really wanted to capture it, so I pulled over and I made it. This is the street across from my house. There's never any parking, as you could tell with these damn cars. They're always taking up every parking spot, and they're just terrible people. They're great people. I don't know, whatever. Paintings, and then here is where things get interesting. I start to get into still lives. I don't know what got me into still lives, but I started doing a lot of them, just constantly, because maybe I was too lazy to go outside. I think possibly I was inspired by Peter Chan, who is an amazing painter, and he does a lot of still lives, and so I was trying to see the value in it. And after doing this one, which was probably the 3rd still life I did in this series, I just kind of fell in love with it. And to this day, I do a lot of still lives. This was the first still life I did. Very similar. If you're familiar with Peter Chan's work, I'll put a link in the bio or in the description. He did a painting very similar to this of some asparagus, some really thick asparagus. And I was at the store browsing for things to paint in my still life, and I happened to see some asparagus, and I thought, well, that'll be fun. I'll go ahead and try that as an exercise. And I did, and it was great. And so after still life came flowers. I started getting obsessed with flowers, and this is one of the only flowers I did in gouache, because as soon as I started painting flowers, I realized that gouache is not the medium for that, and so I moved on to oils, which is a whole nother video. But these are some more recent paintings that I've done, just of a church around the corner from my house, down in Laguna Beach, and then another one with the Weekend Warrior Painters that I did pretty recently, and this was one of the larger gouaches that I've done, and I really liked it. It was just a fun time to do color mixing, and that's everything. That's all my paintings, guys. From 2016, I would say actually it's probably half of the paintings that I've done in 2016, but the other half of paintings either I've thrown away, I've sold, I've given away as gifts, or I've just lost. Or they got water damage, because sometimes I drop my paintings in water. But that's about it, and I just want to talk about the value of hard work. I mean, you can see with just flipping through these paintings, I don't like to use the word prolific when I refer to myself because it sounds kind of arrogant, and I don't want to come off as arrogant, but, you know, just constant production, tons and tons of starts. You know, I'd say on average 2 to 3 paintings a week, and my growth just skyrocketed. Now I'm doing oil paintings, and I have this one right next to me. This is the most recent oil painting I did, and you probably can't see it very well because the lighting, it's a different glare. And now I'm taking, in my opinion, I'm taking my painting career a lot more seriously now than I was 6 months ago, which can be surprising to some because it seemed like I was taking it pretty seriously 6 months ago, but I was also doing a lot of digital paintings, and now I'm kind of scaling back digital paintings, and I'm really focusing on traditional paintings and trying to get way better at that, and just, you know, opening up a new world of possibility, because that really fueled my digital work. And that is it, guys. The reason I'm making this video is because all of these paintings need good homes. They need a place to live. And I really want to make them available to my friends online, people who like my work. I don't feel like I have to sell these paintings for like $10,000. I want people to be able to get a painting from me for a very affordable rate, $20, $30, $100. And that's what this sale is all about. It's not really about making money. It's about letting people who want to own a piece of original art own a piece of original art, even if they're not billionaires or millionaires. So if you guys want, check out the link in my bio, or the link in the description of the video, and head on over to my website, paintwithnick.net. Someoneelsetook.com, dirty rat bastard. And check out the store. It's going to be opening Tuesday. So from the time this video comes out, Tuesday, it's going to be opening up. And I'm looking forward to making some more videos like this. I think we're going to start back up being pretty regular. And I just want to thank you guys for being patient, because I know I've been MIA this past year. And hopefully that won't be the case, but you never really know. My main goal above anything is to be the best painter I can be. Making these videos for you guys, it helps me do that. And so I love doing it, and I want to do more of it. And that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching for these past 15 minutes. If you did watch through all of it, and soon I'll be doing a video on my first month of oil painting, because I've been painting in oils for probably about 2 months, and I have, I think, 30 oil paintings completed. Most of them 8x10, most of them really shitty, but they're done. And so that'll be a fun video to see kind of the short-term growth from a new medium of me starting with oils, which is really, really, really ugly. It's not very pretty, to me getting to where I want to be with oils now. I'm not exactly where I want to be yet, but I know how to get there. And my paintings are starting to get where I want them to be. So slowly but surely, I'll be painting how I want to paint. And I think that's the journey. And I think once I get to the point where I think I want to be, I will have grown my expectations of myself, and I'll want to be somewhere else. And that's just kind of how it works. If you guys have any questions or comments, go ahead and leave them in the comment section below. I will respond, or send me a message if you want it to be private. I love talking to you guys, as I'm sure you know that. And thank you. Talk to you later.